today's video, we are going to do a few things. I am going to share the video with you all. We're going to go through it as a review or a reaction, but there's an assignment that I want to pull from it, but I want to make it clear who might find interest in the assignment. So there's 4 different audience. The first audience type is those who are believers in hell. So they have a religious perspective. This group of individuals believe hell is a part of their religious faith. They may view it as a place of punishment, purification, or separation from the divine. Then we have the group of skeptics or non-believers. This audience consists of individuals who are skeptical about the existence of hell or who do not believe in it at all. Their skepticism might stem from scientific, philosophical, or personal reasons. Then we have those who are undecided or agnostic. This group includes people who are undecided regarding their existence of hell. They might be open to different perspectives, but haven't committed to any specific belief. And then last, we have those who are coming from a cultural or historical perspective, and they have enthusiasm around it. So when it comes to this group, they may not hold personal beliefs about hell, but are curious about it, its roles, its traditions, and its story. So if you sit in any of those areas, I want you to watch this video with me, and then I have a prompt for each group type. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to watch this video coming from a YouTube channel called Touching the Afterlife. This is someone's testimonial. His name is Dominic, and the name of the testimonial and the story we're watching together is I was a Chicago gang member and went to hell after being shot twice. Now, we're not watching the full story. We're just watching this particular moment in time where the storyteller is talking about his experience with viewing hell.
Because people don't understand that these demons feed off our depression. They feed off our anxiety. They feed off our aggression. They feed off our hate. They just feed off of us. So that's why they call us in the background. They don't have the power to make us do it, but they have the power to influence situations that make us do these things. And they feed off that. And that's one thing I've learned. The hatred for us, that's why I love all mankind. Because the hatred they have for us, it would make you love all mankind and stick together against these beings. Really. We have, all the divisions that are caused are just an illusion. But yeah, that's one thing that's what I learned from that. But as I was laying on the ground, I'm sorry, I just had to just reiterate that point. But as I'm laying and I can't get up, and the thing is, in reality, I wasn't breathing because there's no oxygen down there. I think it was more mental, psychological, because I was so used to being in the physical. So I'm trying to breathe, and I'm realizing, so I'm barely standing up, and that's when I think the Lord showed me it was the whole hell of this section, because hell has sections. I'm going to explain that soon. It has many sections. It was illuminated for me where I can just see everything. And when I tell you the tortures, the wow, I mean, it is beyond the stretch of your imagination. And people say, why would God let that happen to us? Why did God send you there? Why did they blame God? But they never blamed the enemy for anything when they were here on this earth. But one thing that I noticed when you're in hell and when you're internally in a spirit body, you can look at a person inside hell and you know why they're there. You instantaneously know, you know why that person is there. I've seen people there for unforgiveness. I've seen people there who thought they were the best in the church, saying, why did you do this to me? I've seen pastors there. I've seen even some preteens in hell. I've seen a lot of people who think they're doing the right thing, but they're no. Like, for example, the first lady who I saw getting tortured individually, not the people in the pits. There were 2 demons, and they were laughing, these reptile things, and they had her mouth, and they stretched her mouth so far back, like to rip her jaws open, and they were pouring lava down her throat and sticking her throat with spears and just like these old ancient looking rusty daggers, and they were getting a kick, and it was horrible. But then the fact is, she turned the bone, she was breaking up, and then she would rejuvenate, and they would do it all over again and over again and over. And they were taking turns. They were inviting other demonic spirits. They were laughing. They were having fun torturing this lady. And when I looked, and I really knew, this has to be the Lord, I already knew why she was there. She was there because not only was she a gossiper, she was gossiping about people. She got many people life turned because of her tongue, and she was an alcoholic. And I'm starting to, there was a theme in hell I started to notice, because people commit a lot of sins on a wide spectrum. But the one that sticks out the most is the one that's going to rectify, that you're going to get inside hell. So they say, a person who is promiscuous, and that's another one. I'm going to keep it not explicit, but I saw a young lady in hell. There were demons literally taking turns having sex with this woman. And when I say it's not regular sexual intercourse, it was beyond mine. I mean, I can't say too much to describe, but all I can say is that she was very promiscuous when she was here on this earth, and they were torturing her in ways that you can't even imagine. So, yeah, I was just saying the biggest sins that I started noticing that pattern. The biggest sins that you have, because like I said, everybody sins on different spectrums and think it's nothing. It does. No, everything counts. Everything counts. And it's not God, our Father, up there taking a list of you. It also says in the Bible that the flesh will testify against itself. So people, that is real. Your flesh testifies against you. Your flesh, you desires. That's why he always tells us to get away from pleasing our own flesh, because we're going to put ourselves there. The Lord cries, the Lord heart aches for us, every one of us that go to hell. He does not want that. He does not want that for us at all. It really tears him apart to see us in that predicament. But it's back to the tortures, unfortunately. That was only one section. And I thought, and that's mind blowing. That was only one section with the pits. So I thought that, no. And I think the Lord was with me. I don't know if anybody ever had a dream before where you couldn't see the person's face, but somebody was there standing with you. I know the Lord was with me, but I never saw him. But I knew he was the one directing me and protecting me, because these things wanted to eat me and tear me apart. But the second thing I remember is another section of hell. And that's another thing. When you move in hell, there's no really walking around when he's showing you. It's like you instantaneous. It's like teleportation. When I teleported to this other part of hell, okay, I saw these cells, okay, and I grew up in skyscrapers, uptown Chicago. Grew up on the 16th floor, and these things were taller than that. These things had to be 50 stories tall, and it was a row of them, all the way as your eyes can see, looking up. And they are open old bar cells, and there are people in them. There are people in them. Some of them look like skeletons. Some of them were just burned like to a crisp, and they're cursing God, and they were just very angry to be there. There was no repentance. There was no asking for another chance. Those are the ones who were just very angry at our Lord. They were very angry. Some of them even started looking like almost a reptilian look because of the hatred coming out of them. And also I noticed some of them been there for thousands of years. See, that's the thing. People don't understand. Time doesn't exist in eternity. It doesn't. The clock stops. And I realized that. I saw people there who were there 2,000 years, 4,000, and you just know the ancientness of it. I saw all different languages. It doesn't discriminate. The devil doesn't discriminate at all. The whole end point is to get you there. That's it. So all of this, while we're messing around with racism, we're messing around with judging others of economic status, which is just an illusion, by the way. It's about spiritual currency. It's an illusion, and it's a trap to get us there. And when I saw those cells, that's when things started to awaken to me. I saw mostly those who were in those cells were people who dabbled in witchcraft, those who dabbled in Santeria, those who dabbled in all kind of tarot cards, those who wanted to know the future and astrology. I just know, like I told you, once you go there, you know. You can just look at a person and you know while they're there. And mostly I saw there was a thing to those people in those cells, and those are the people who worship other gods or the doctrines of demons, is what they call also in the scriptures. And what's so terrifying about that is that here, because I have my brush with Santeria, unfortunately growing up, and they promise you everything materialistically, but what they don't tell you is once you worship these demons, now that I know they are, I didn't know that before. They make it seem like they're positive, they're good, they're here to help mankind. The 9 principalities, and they give you all the wealth you want. You do these rituals and stuff, but you don't realize you owe them. And what you owe them is beyond this earth. You're going to have a spot. They have a spot waiting for you. It reminds me of people who say, well, I didn't know the law. I didn't know. But if you go to court, you will still go to jail. Ignorance is not a way out of it. You all. So I'm just telling you, watch what you do. Watch what you confer, because psychics and all of these mediums and things of that nature, of course, they're going to tell you things that are right on purpose, because they call it familiar spirits, which I saw them ascending and descending from hell. But I will get to that too. But just be careful, you all, playing with witchcraft, any astrology, any things of that nature, because they have a place just in hell for you. And also the Lord told me that this place grows every day. Actually, it's growing by the second. It's like hell is alive. It is a place that it is a dimension that is alive. You can even feel it. The ground of hell, it moves in waves. It's like a wave. You can feel it under your feet. It's as if, it's like kind of like breathing, but I wouldn't consider it breathing. But it just had a component the same way the darkness has. It was alive. It is alive. That place is alive. But as I'm looking at the cells, all of a sudden I feel again. Now this time I'm standing on the cliff, and I'm looking down, and it looks like a gray area, and it's like dead trees. It's just like a abandoned forest, a dead forest, but it had a path on it. And on the path, there was people. It was, as far as the eye can see, they were all chained together. They were all chained up, and they looked like pure skeletons. None of them had flesh on them at all. None of them, and they were all chained together. But then, as you look further ahead to where they were going, it was gates, and it was a wall that was so high, and the gates was so high that it was. I couldn't understand.
I was watching it. I told myself I was going to stop at a certain time period, and I started listening to him more, and I was like intrigued. But I want you all to look at the link in the bio. This is the second video I had about this testimony, and to watch it for yourself. Now, I picked out this certain part of it because as I was listening to Dominic tell his testimonial, I keep saying testimony, I was wondering about, I was challenged in my thought because I wanted to know, why would evil need to exist? Why are we going through all this torture and all this crazy stuff and fearing this earth and all the demonic spirits beyond it? Why do they have so much power? But as I said in another video, as I transitioned or as I listened to the video, it was just almost like I got a new understanding and I was renewed. And it was like, that was the answer. So I don't want to get too much into what I thought about the video. I really wanted this to be an assignment for those who fit into those 4 different audience types to really use this as a prompt. Because as I sit, we have conversations, we talk amongst each other, we look at different content, but this is where you come on YouTube where we're just getting a little bit more intentional about our thinking. So, and I want us to share in a mindful way. So the challenge, most of this is about how can I share what I believe in, keep it attached to my experience and my belief, and use it for edification. How is it that our stories are all different and we have different definitive beliefs? I'm gonna sit in a line. I keep saying it. I like to say this line where I'm gonna sit here. But when I think about how everyone has these different beliefs and they're so diverse, it leans towards how I see God in everything. And so when I get these different perspectives and people say that they believe or they don't believe in this, or this is the truth, or this is how you do it, and we all have unique experiences, it's why I shared the story about my daughter earlier. And one of the takeaways from that little small experience before I started to record this video, because life happens to be this way, just all the great things and lessons. My experience in using a product or using a service is going to do 2 things. It's either going to warn people, it's going to help people. It can need, 3 things. It can support people. And as I listen to different stories, I'm always finding another way that I'm learning or I'm being supportive. And so when I heard this man's testimony, it supported questions that I had that I really, no matter how much other different perspectives were shared with me, I just really couldn't sit with, I don't understand this evil. I don't understand what's the point. And throughout the entire video, I'm like, oh, I get the point. Like I get it. Like I still have questions, of course, but I get it. And so since there was a challenge for me, I'm wondering how other people sit. So why do we help people? Why do we support people? Why does it matter that we care about other people outside of ourselves? Our stories gives us lenses into why. Because his particular story, I wouldn't want to have experienced that. This is an example you'll probably hear a lot on the show. But if I go to a restaurant and I say to someone who's just walking on the street, or even to the waiter, like, how's the food here? Or how was your experience here? Someone could say, oh, I had the most amazing experience. And another person can say that I had a great experience. I had a horrible experience. It sucked. Don't ever go there. Like, they don't ever go there. And I have a choice to make. Am I going to lean on the person who said I had a great experience? Am I going to lean on the person that said suck? Or am I going to go and have my own experience? In some cases, I use that same barometer or meter to get an idea. Like, how convincing was the person that said they had a great experience? It could be convincing enough for me to say, I'm going to try it too. Or how convincing was the person who said they had a great experience? And what is the subject at hand? So the subject at hand here is restaurant versus hell. Like if someone is giving me this breakdown of hell and it's convincing and it speaks to me, then I have a choice to make. Like, I think I might take heed because there's a lot that I'm taking heed in the entire conversation. So sometimes when I'm listening to people, it's like a valley. Like some things I'll take, some things I don't take. But when I know that there is a direct connection in my world, I'm looking at, okay, well, how do I feel throughout this? Where did I change or elevate? And what I like about here is I came in the beginning of the video thinking like, oh my God, not this again. Oh, the world is so evil. Like with a better understanding. And I have like now I'm approaching this concept of demonic spirits with a totally different lens on the fear of it, because the fear now is not, oh, I'm fear that they could do something to me. I'm fear that we don't love each other enough and that it's growing on this other side. So wait a second. I said I wasn't going to do all of that. So I'm going to go back to the 4 different audience types. I want you guys to come into the conversation and share your perspective and stories in the comments, because the point is to have the diverse thinking and to share our stories. But the challenge is, how can I do this in a mindful way? So believers that believe in hell, if you believe in hell, how does this belief affect your everyday choices and behavior? Share how your faith shapes your views of hell and any of the experiences that support your belief. For those who are skeptics or non-believers, your prompt is, if you don't believe in hell, what reasons do you have? Share how this skepticism shapes your ideas about right and wrong in the afterlife. For those who are undecided or agnostic, if you're unsure about hell, what doubts or questions do you have? Discuss how you navigate these uncertainties. And for those who come from a cultural or historical enthusiasm, if you're interested in the cultural or historical views of hell, how do you see the concept varying across different cultures? Share any interpretations that stand out to you. So this is many people who are just curious about different topics. I'm one of those people who explore and say, well, what are people saying differently? And how can I look at all the differences? So one thing that I've noticed is people who come back to a faith, like what are the common threads there? So those are the type of things that I look when I talk about, being enthusiast or looking at it from a historical, cultural perspective. So if you fit in any of those audience types, share with us in the comments or share this video with someone if you just want to have it to be a conversation starter. I'm open to this just being a place where we get new ideas to have better conversations with each other, that we're not afraid to talk about our differences, that we do share our diversity of thoughts to see at the end how close we can get together. Diversity in thought to me is we all are experiencing this earth and we all have a reason why we experience it one way or the other. And maybe even the reason that's supposed to be like, stay away from that people or they're scary, can also be a moment in time where you are developing your identity and whatever it is and your role here on earth. It's already assigned to us. We already know it's already being done. So when I look at the most scariest things, are those scary things helping me become a better person in some way? Am I coming down here on this earth for an experience to really about lessons? People really have said that for a long time, but I don't think that stuck with me until I watched this video, because I'm like, all these lessons, but my perspective towards my lessons are deepened, is heightened. I still want to use this relationship that I have with God in a way that is authentic. So when I'm authentic, I'm like, I don't want to have no scary experiences. Is there a different route? Can you teach me these things? Like, this is the type of relationship that I'm interested in. And I'm also interested in being in this place where I can share these thoughts with you all, that you guys can share your diverse thoughts with me too. But the challenge, and this is just the challenge here, and this is the platform that I want, is your thought, even in the way that we position it, because the way that his delivery and his messaging is going to hit different people. Some people it's not going to hit. But here we're practicing with our delivery and our message. What do we want the outcome to be? Some people say, well, in order for me to really deliver a message to bring it home, I got to scare them. I need to scare them, because if my child is running into a street and they're going to hurt themselves, I got to snatch them up. So that's how I deliver. There's other approaches available to us where we can be gentle. We can use the knowledge to show ourselves approved. There's different ways and approaches, and I think that we are so diverse because we are at different places and experiences that it's going to hit where it needs to hit. So if it doesn't hit you here, guys, I'm thankful for you sharing your time so far with me. I encourage you to continue to edify, yourself, edify the people around you. Find whatever source that you need to find that's really going to help us all lean on the good. If you have a different perspective on whether or not, I'll just leave it there. I'm going to go into another full conversation. I really just wanted to share this video with you all, share this point of video, and give the different audience types different ways to approach the prompt. But until next time, hold on to you as much as you